Hello everyone, welcome back, welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren and I make videos a couple of times a week about books and fandom things. It's been a while. So basically I was planning on making a video every day in June, which obviously didn't happen. At the start of June I was poorly, so I didn't kick off with a video every day, and then just when I was getting back into the swing of things I had to go to the hospital because my jaw displaced. Get my jaw displaced on iTunes and Spotify now? No. Yeah, so that happened. I was liquids only, I was in a lot of pain, I couldn't really talk, it was a nightmare. I have issues with my jaw, I've had issues with my jaw for forever and I'm waiting to hear about surgeries and stuff, but my jaw was just like, oh, lockdown who? I don't know her. I just decided it was going to go ahead and pop out, you know? So it was fun. And then I was just exhausted and sleeping, and I was supposed to do a quiz on Karis's channel, I was supposed to do a Pride live show on Kate's channel, and I couldn't do any of them, and I just basically decided that physically and mentally I was just not in the place to try and make videos and try and do things. So I just decided that I wasn't going to put any pressure on myself and I was going to step back and I was not going to do anything. I'm back. As you can see, I am talking, I'm moving. It does still hurt. I have progressed from liquids to very soft foods. So that's where we're at the minute, which is better because I was very hungry. Literally was having complan for dinner and lunch and smoothies for breakfast, but I tried a kale smoothie for the first time, which actually was quite nice, so you know, not all bad things. A lot has happened in my life, just in general, but also book wise. So I had a huge unhaul, so I'm going to talk about that in this video. This video is essentially unhaul, but also I've been reading a lot of books outside of what I would usually read, and books that I've had for a while. I also bought some new books because I got to go to Waterstones for the first time again, which was really good. It was genuinely the safest shop I've been in, like the shop I felt the safest in since I've been allowed to go back to shops again. For those that don't know, I am considered vulnerable, so I wasn't allowed out until June, so I literally like quarantined from March till June, aside from going on very short walks away from everyone else, and that's what I did. So I was allowed back out in June, which was great because I got to go on some socially distanced walks with my friends and see my friends, which was wonderful. And I went back to supermarkets, which was good because it was nice to be able to have choice of different things again. And then I also went for a walk with my cousin the other day and walked into Waterstones and popped into Waterstones. It was genuinely the safest shop that I've been in since I've been in shops. I have some books and I just want to show them briefly, but I wanted to update you guys because obviously I haven't been uploading videos saying like what I've been doing and recommending books and talking about books, and obviously I didn't upload a video every day in Pride Month, but I always make LGBTQ+ content anyway, so you know, you can always come to me for that gay shit. So I will make the videos I was planning on making anyway, because as much as I do an emphasis in Pride Month, that content should be made all year round, which is obviously the same with talking about books by black authors and with black characters, which I've already seen die down, and I just feel like that's stuff we need to be reading all the time, you know? And making sure we're reading the right stuff by the right authors, because I've seen lots of people recommend White Fragility, and then apparently that book is awful. I've not read it, but apparently it's horrific and written by a white dude, and he uses words that he shouldn't be using in it. Don't read White Fragility. I picked up The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, which I've had for a very long time, and it was first brought on my radar by the movie. I thought that the concept of the book sounded quite interesting, so I picked it up ages ago. I haven't seen the movie. I don't think I'm going to watch it now anyway. It's my first Donna Tartt book, but I did buy The Secret History because I've been told by lots of people that The Secret History is better than The Goldfinch, but that was by people that didn't like The Goldfinch, whereas I'm liking The Goldfinch. So is this going to be absolutely mind-blowing and just be amazing? Possibly, you know? It's just a really interesting way of writing. Like, Theo is such an interesting narrator because he's processing lots of things. So he tells us in a lot of detail about some things that are happening, but then in other times he just completely leaves something out, and then it's not until the thing has been happening for ages that is like, oh, by the way, this happened too. So yeah, The Goldfinch focuses on 13-year-old Theo Decker. It starts off when he's an adult, but he's talking about, he like goes back to tell the story, and basically him and his mum are in a museum in New York where they live, and his mum goes into a different room to look at something and Theo is going to go somewhere else, but there is an explosion in the museum and Theo's mum dies and he does not. And there was a painting, the Goldfinch painting, that Theo actually ends up taking from the museum, sort of in his, he wakes up when he comes round after the explosion and he ends up taking it, and then it is that story. He's kind of holding on to it, like, because it's a link to his mum. I think it's really interesting actually, and a really interesting description of lots of different things. So yeah, The Goldfinch, I've been reading it, and I bought, like I said, I bought The Secret History as well because I do quite like the way that Donna Tartt writes. So Donna Tartt books. I also bought the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. This was because so many of my friends read it recently. Like, I don't know too much about the plot of this book, like the blurb literally is, this is the way the world ends for the last time, which in itself draws me in, but I've just been told that the way that N.K. Jemisin writes fantasy, and just the way she writes in general, and just the stories that she tells are so amazing, and it's world building done right, and it's really, really good and really creative, so I'm really excited for this one. I also bought Unhaul by Hilary Mantel. This is a big boy. This is actually less pages than The Goldfinch. And this is Thomas Cromwell's sort of starting from the bottom, making his way up to be one of Henry VIII's advisor. It is historical fiction, but obviously with a lot of truthful elements in it and historical elements in it. This is a trilogy, and Hilary Mantel actually won the Man Booker Prize twice in the same series. This book, and I believe the second book in the series, won. So, you know, that's pretty cool, like, to win the Man Booker Prize twice. Yeah, I'm excited to read someone. I'm very much into historical fiction at the moment. I've been listening to the audiobook of The Five, which isn't fiction, it's non-fiction, but it is the 5 victims of Jack the Ripper, but their lives outside of just being known as the victims, and their life outside of everything else, which is very interesting and a really good audiobook. And then I bought Midnight in Chernobyl by Adam Higginbotham, which is literally the untold story of Chernobyl, which Chernobyl really interests me, just as I think it interests lots of people, and I just am really fascinated by everything that happened and what went down. Like, I think there's some really important parts of history, and parts of history which we know about, but like, and do get things, but it's quite sensationalized quite a lot, which obviously because it was such a big thing, but I want to learn more about the actual intricacies of everything that went down. So this has so many maps and information, and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, that was just a tiny little haul of things I've been reading recently, but my reading tastes have really changed. So obviously I do still read young adult stuff, and I have lots of young adult stuff, but I've been reading a lot of fictional, like lots of historical things, and also lots of adult contemporary books and adult fantasy books the last couple months, and I realised in June just how much that love has increased, and how much I am really enjoying them. I've got a big unhaul to do, a fair few books actually, a lot of which were written by J.K. Rowling. So I'm getting rid of my house editions of Harry Potter. Here they all are. I went a bit mad when they first released the house editions, and I bought every copy of Philosopher's Stone, so all 4 house hardbacks, all 4 house paperbacks. And then when Chamber of Secrets came out, I got the hardback and the paperback. And then when Prisoner of Azkaban came out, I got the paperback. And I was already starting to lose interest in collecting them because there's so many, and it was the space, and I have lots of editions of Harry Potter, I have lots of Harry Potter things. And with everything going on with J.K. Rowling at the moment, I am really in a awful headspace because of it, because this was something which changed my entire life and is 100% the reason why I know 98% of my friends, and all of so many of our memories revolve around it, and it's so easy for it to just slip into conversation, and because it's been such a big part of our lives. So I've had to make some decisions and think about a lot of things, because obviously it goes without saying that I do not support anything that she is saying, and I read her essay. I did read the essay, and I don't think that she deserved to have her ex-husband and things he did splashed all over the front page of a newspaper that I'm not even going to name because they're trash, and I don't understand why anybody still reads them, because they've shown time and time again that they are totally trash. It's been a lot to think about and a lot to talk about, and I might make a whole video about the situation, but alas. But yeah, I'm going to get rid of my house editions. I've still got my foreign editions. It's my life, like I've got it everywhere, and it's really hard to just, this woman that created such a wonderful world that has impacted my life in the best ways, like it's yeah, it's a lot. But yes, on the same note, I'm going to get rid of the Robert Galbraith series. I've read The Cuckoo's Calling and I did enjoy it. It's not like I didn't enjoy it. I never got onto the other ones, and then the series keeps growing and I have not enough interest to continue the series. Yeah, I think there's 5 books now and I don't think it's finished, so I'm not ready. I just don't want to commit to that. Also, Unhauling, my Bronte sisters, Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights. I have read both of these books and I want to reread them because I read them a very long time ago and I really like them. But the reason you'd be like, well, why are you unhauling them then? I have them on my Kindle, which is why I also want to read them. But also, these copies are the Twilight themed copies. So this literally says Bella and Edward's favourite book on the front. It literally says, and it doesn't peel off. And I have a lot of other classics that I enjoy, and these just, I got these when I was very into Twilight, and I just don't want these. Like I want to get a really nice classic set. That is the aim. And I have these on my Kindle, so I'm going to reread them on there. I just don't need these, you know. I don't need Bella and Edward's favourite book. I then have the Red Queen, the trilogy by Victoria Aveyard. I bought this for I think like £5 for all 3 of them. I've not read them. I bought these a very long time ago, fully planning on reading them, and the other day I had a flick through the first couple of pages, and I just can't imagine that I'm gonna ever get round to them. I just don't think these are for me anymore. I just don't think they're something that I'm gonna particularly gel with, so I'd rather donate them, which is what I'm planning on doing. I donate my books to someone that will be able to buy them and will get some enjoyment out of them. Then we have the To All the Boys I Loved Before series by Jenny Han. I adore this series. I do adore this series. I love this series. It reminds me of when I was a little bit younger, when I was a teen. Was I a teenager? So I was 19. I was 19 when this first came out. It does remind me of being at uni when I got the first book for the first time and reading them and finding out it was a series. So I do like it, but I don't imagine I'm ever going to reread them. I tried to when the film came out, the first film came out, and I read the first one, then I just never picked up the last 2 again. I haven't reread them since. I don't plan on rereading them, and they'll always hold a special place in my heart for, you know, it's To All the Boys, you know, you're gonna love it. And the film makes me very happy. I haven't seen the second film yet because the second book stressed me out, so I don't want the film to, but the first film, I adore it. So I would like to pass these on to someone that will enjoy them and can now read them. Then we have Wilder Girls by Rory Power. This I have 2 copies of. That's literally the only reason why I'm getting rid of it. I have another copy still on my shelves down here, and I'm just getting rid of it because I have 2 copies. I bought a copy and I was sent a copy by publisher, so that's why. The same goes for On the Road. I'm getting rid of 2 copies of On the Road. I have multiple, but it's just taking up space. For those that are newer to my channel, On the Road was the inspiration for my YouTube channel, Ren on the Road. I need to feel like I need to just preface this by saying that I don't think that the Beat Generation, like the people involved with the Beat Generation, were necessarily good people, but I think that the Beat Generation was influential for literature, but I kind of want to make a whole video about the Beat Generation, because I was told recently by someone, why was I not aware that Jack Kerouac was like not a good human, and I was like, I'm very aware of that. They didn't do the best things, did they? But no, when I was sorting them out, I thought I don't need 3 copies of this, so I've got the original scroll version still. But I'll get rid of the movie version, which I only bought because it has Kristen Stewart on the cover, and this was the first ever copy that I read. But I preferred the original scroll edition, so that's there with all my other Beat literature. I am also unhauling my copy of Eleanor and Park. Recently, things have been brought to my attention that the way that characters are portrayed in Rainbow Rowell's books is not always the best, and I've done a lot of reading and a lot of reading up on it. The reason why I still have some of my other Rainbow Rowell books is because they are signed and dedicated to me, so I can't really, like, I never really know what the situation to donate those are, because they are like, they've got my name and everything in them, but I'm not keeping that one, and I'm going to figure out what to do with some of the others, because like I said, I've met her a couple of times, so every book of hers I've got is signed and personalised now, so I never really know what to do. But yeah, I will be unhauling Eleanor and Park. I am going to be unhauling Tears by Amanda Maciel. I got this book so long ago, have never picked it up, don't think I will pick it up. I definitely think I missed the time for me to read this book, and the best time for me to read this book. I mean, I'm not planning on reading it, to be honest. It sounded really good and I did want it. Yeah, I'm not gonna read it, so I'd rather it go to someone that will. I'm also going to get rid of a couple of biographies. I have Danny Dyer, Life Lessons from the East End, and Binge by Tyler Oakley. Both of these I did enjoy, but I just don't see myself reading again, and they're just taking up space for books that I will love a little bit more, and books that I will have, like, that I will want to keep. I've realised the older I've gotten that I don't have to keep every single book I have, and I can love a book and still not want to keep it, and I think there is a difference in having a book that you adore so much that you can never part from it, and having a book which you really enjoyed but that you like don't see yourself reading again, or that you see as just taking up space. So I also have The Exact Opposite of Okay by Laura Stephen. This is another one which I did enjoy. I think it had some really good messages in it, and it's a really good book about feminism and the internet and how different things are portrayed, and how always the woman is always seems to be the one that's demonized on social media and that kind of thing, like slut shaming and lots of things like that. This one I thought was really good, but I just don't see myself reading it again. It's one that I read and enjoyed, but would like to pass on to somebody else. There's that one as well. And I have 1,000 Nights by E.K. Johnston. I read this book a really long time ago, and I mean, it's very pretty, but I will not read it again. I've read a lot of valid criticisms about it as well, and I think when you've read that and you sort of are more aware of things the older you get, I think that I'm never going to reread this. I don't ever plan on rereading it, and it was literally just at the bottom of my shelf, just chilling, so I would rather see it go. Finally, we have Maggie Stiefvater or The Crooked Saints. Again, I read this, I didn't love it. I just have not properly been able to get on with Maggie Stiefvater's books. The Raven King, I never really like that whole series, the Raven Cycle series. That's what's called, Raven Cycle, not Raven King. Raven King's the last book. I sort of enjoyed. I don't think I ever properly finished it. And this was okay, but like it's just been on my channel for too long, and I just have no interest. And again, like, lots of things have been pointed out to me. I think a lot of books that I read or had when I was a lot younger, I just was unaware of things and unaware of certain things with different authors and stuff. But I think the older you get, hindsight is a wonderful thing. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's my unhaul. I think that the Marie Kondo method is actually very good. Lots of people made fun of that when she came out with it. It was like, you only need 10 books. Like, she was never saying that you only actually need 10 books. She was saying that's what she has. But it really influenced the way that I sort things out, the way I sort out my wardrobe and the way I sort out my books, because I don't need to have all of these books on my shelf. I don't need to have them. Some of them are sat there and I've never touched them. Some of them have been sat there, I read them once, put them on my shelf and haven't touched them since, unless it's been to dust or rearrange the shelf. And I think when I look at my bookshelves, I want to think I love these books or I'm excited to read these books. So whether or not read means like reread. So like I look at my copies of Ari and Dante and I get excited because I know that at some point multiple times in my life I will reread this story and I will get to see that story, and then there's other books I haven't read that I will get excited about, but there's some books that I read that I loved so much that had such an impact on me that I don't think I could ever part from them. And I think that does it bring you joy is a really important thing to think about, and that's what I do now. That's what I try and do, and I realise that I don't need to keep all of the books that I've ever had because they're not all for me, and that's okay because everyone has a very different reading taste and different reading life, and my reading life and taste is evolving and changing all the time, which I think is great. And I'm lucky enough to have such space, lots of shelves to add to and bring new books to and change around. I think that it's important to do so, and if you're never going to read a book, I'd rather donate it to someone that is then going to read it, and maybe that'll be their forever book and it'll be on their shelf forever, you know, which I'd much rather have. So, yes, that was my where I've been, little catch up on what I'm reading, and an unhaul. So I hope you liked it. Like I said, if you guys are new here, then I make videos a couple of times a week about books and fandom things. So if you want to stick around and join us, feel free to hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell as well. I also just wanted to briefly say that I am going to be starting a podcast with my friend Emily. It is called Hawkins Do You Copy, and it is a Stranger Things podcast. It is launching on the 4th of July, which is very exciting, and I'm buzzed for it. I'm really excited to release it. It's going to be on my YouTube channel, which you can see, and then there are some social medias and stuff for it which I will link down below as well, and all my social medias as per usual are in the description as well. Thank you guys for watching. I hope we're doing really well, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.